friends, welcome to Bookish Bliss, our virtual book club. Every week we will dig into a section of chapters in our favorite books. Let's get started!
Hello everyone, and welcome to episode 18 of Bookish Bliss. We have a lot to discuss today.
Yes, this week we are covering chapters 46 through 60 of A Court of Wings and Ruin by Sarah J. Maas. There will be no spoilers beyond the covered chapters. You don't have to read the whole book to listen. You just have to be caught up on the chapters we're covering. Amanda, what are you drinking tonight?
I have my bestie back, Mark Westy.
Mark West is back. It's been a minute.
It has been a minute, at least a month, I would say.
Yeah,
I'll have to go back and see how long it's actually been. But yes, I'm excited to get my red wine on tonight.
Woo!
What are you drinking tonight?
Well, thanks to my friend Katie, I have some lovely new bottles to my collection, but it is super warm tonight in my apartment, and I refuse to record with short sleeves on because I'm a psychopath. And so it's going to be a white wine tonight. It's an Italian Chardonnay from Villa Fassini. I'm probably totally mispronouncing that, but it's a Trebbiano Chardonnay from 2013.
Oh, wow. Fancy. We've got the fancy wine back out tonight.
We do. So I'm going to pour myself a glass because, you know, when I'm drinking, I'm not ready.
I wouldn't have it any other way.
And I will cheers you to episode 18.
Wild. Cheers, honey.
Cheers, darling.
That's
wonderful.
Ooh, you like it?
Yeah, it's like, I don't know. I don't know what I'm tasting.
There's like,
it's not as acidic as I feel like most Chardonnays are that give you that very dry feeling to it. It's like more smooth and refreshing than most normal Chardonnays.
Wow.
I love that.
I love that too. It makes me want to try it. I'm going to have to try it next time I'm at your house.
Yes.
All right. Now let's get started with the good stuff and break down ACOWAR Part V. Over to you, Meg. Please summarize the set of chapters for us.
All right. Just like every week, we're going to be breaking down these chapters into little bitty summaries. And then later on in the episode, we'll be digging a little deeper into that crazy plot. This book has been wild. It continues to be wild. And we're on a journey.
We are.
Chapter 46. Feyre is continuing her epic takedown of Baron. She is fully kicking his ass. Nesta is a queen, and the High Lords decide they don't know how they feel about a woman who has more power than they do. Typical. Even in a fantasy world, men are disappointing.
Yep.
Chapter 47. Everyone is having a slumber party in the Dawn Court. Helion comes to visit our inner circle in their suite, and the tea is piping hot. One of our beloved characters has a daddy that they don't know about. Drama. Speaking of drama, Nesta wants everyone to leave because something is wrong, but she cannot pinpoint what, so the group stays. Also, Helion and Moore get it on.
That was wild.
Chapter 48. We enter day 2 of the High Lords meeting with our battle gear on today. Nesta actually starts having a panic attack and throws up into the nice little reflection pool before the world feels an impact. The King of Hybern has just destroyed the wall with the cauldron. WTF.
Our crew is too late.
We're just a little too late. Chapter 49. Our gang goes back to Valoris immediately after the news of the wall coming down hits. They know the time is now and they are going to need to leave Valoris for a while as the war is officially starting. Nesta is blaming herself. Elaine is actually being helpful, and Rhys says they need to prepare to leave. Feyre visits Amryn and tells her she needs to come with her now to help her with an errand. Chapter 50. We have a play date with Braxis, and Amryn is the chaperone. Feyre wheels and deals another bargain, and our gang takes one last look around the townhouse, wondering if they will ever see home again. Chapter 51. Part 3. begins here. The High Lady. We are back in the Illyrian war camps preparing for war. Nesta scares the shit out of everyone she meets, and Elaine is glamoured up to head back into the human lands to see if her fiance will give safe passage to any human who can make it to his estate. Chapter 52. Daddy Grayson and Baby Grayson are not happy to see them, period. Why? Oh, because of course Jurian opened his big fat mouth and told them that all the Artern sisters are now Fae.
Fucking Jurian.
Chapter 53, Jurian! He is a big pain in my ass. There seems to be a lot of them in this book. He may be a pain in the ass, but apparently he's a pain in my ass who's on our side. Who would have put money on that? Probably not me. Though a person rarely changes who they are and to their core, and he fought for the human side the first go, so why would he switch sides this time?
True.
Chapter 54. Feyre is shook, Elaine is devastated, and Nesta is about to commit murder. But unfortunately, she lets wimpy Lord Grayson live, and Jurian gives advice for the attack Hybern has planned for tomorrow. Chapter 55. The gang preps for war. Rhys is showing his vulnerable side before the battle starts in the morning, and Feyre gives him a final smooch. It was the shortest, weirdest chapter. Chapter 56. An epic first battle in the war begins, and our group is victorious. Honestly, so much happens in this chapter. We will leave it for our battle section and plot section. Onward!
Onward!
Chapter 57. Feyre's epic idea to help the group is to go find the Suriel and more to the front lines. I get she wants to find the majority of Hybern's army to unleash Braxis, but we are in the middle of a battle that's currently going and turning against us. I think there may be a better use of your powers, but what do I know again?
Yeah, I kind of agree with you. I agree with you.
Yeah. Chapter 58. At least the Suriel was waiting for her when she arrived in the middle. The Suriel, as always, has the best tea, but is rudely interrupted when the worst person to ever be written in a book steps into the clearing and shoots the Suriel in the back. It's just rude.
Fucking Ianthe.
Chapter 59. Feyre's revenge era is back into play. For her, the Suriel, and her sisters, and who can help her complete her revenge best? The Weaver.
Oof.
And chapter 60. I cried reading this chapter. I will probably cry recording this chapter in the plot section. No words. We'll not talk about it twice. R.I.P. Suriel.
R.I.P. And burn in hell, Ianthe. Wow. Great summaries as always, Megan. Thank you.
Thank you.
I can't believe I'm always so shocked to go back to the beginning of the section and just learn all this happens in 100 pages. It's just wild.
It's so wild. When I sat down to just write the summaries, I go, we're at the High Lords meeting? What?
I forgot even about the wall. I feel like that even happened so long ago.
I know. I just feel like this whole section was just about the battle, but that was just one long 16-page chapter.
Literally took forever.
Yeah, Amanda's like, you can read that one.
Yeah, I always pick the short ones.
Made us switch our reading pattern, so I would be the one that had to read that one.
Yep, you're just a better reader out louder.
Reader out louder. All right, Amanda, why don't you catch us up on all our characters? I see someone I don't like is up first.
Yes, I figured I'd start with him so we could just get him out of the way. 2 little measly bullet points on him. I'm sure you guys can all guess who we're talking about. Tamlin. Shocking. Tamlin claims to be working on their side the whole time, and Rhys believes him. What do we think about this, Megan?
I don't know. Maybe he's looking into his mind and sees that it's real. So if he believes him, I guess we believe him.
Well, also, I feel like I do believe him, but he's going to have the most fucked up way to be on the good side. Like, he's never going to do it the right way. He's like on the right side, but doing it the wrong way is how I picture it happening.
Yeah, he just can never shut his trap.
Yeah. Or play along with everybody else. Like, he's got to do it his way, and his way sucks. All the time. Jurian lets us know, though, that Tamlin had gone back to the Spring Court, where Hybern was, and the king was planning an attack on Summer. So, does Tamlin know about this attack on Hybern? What do you think?
I'm not sure, because he obviously didn't tell them at the High Lords meeting. He was gone for a couple of days because of it. And it could have been a last minute decision.
Yeah, that's
To
true.
head over
I mean,
there.
obviously he's going to
Because
go back to the spring court. That's his court. He has
yeah,
no
I mean,
choice.
he doesn't have anywhere else to go, and he has to start, evacuating his people into the summer court.
Yeah.
Or that's what his plan was, but now the summer court was attacked. So I don't think that Tamlin would have agreed to have his people evacuate to the summer court if he thought that there was going to be an attack there.
That's true. That's definitely true. We learn more about Helion in this section. Helion and Rhys are bros, and I'm here for it. He also wants to have a foursome with Cassian Moore and Asriel. LOL.
I mean,
so
who wouldn't?
He favors both males and females. Apparently, he's hot though, and doesn't have trouble getting attention from either. He agrees to having his armies work with Cassian's in the Myrmidon's mountain range. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. Helion and Moore get it on. He got a third of his wish, at least. Or I should say a fourth of his wish. Since he wanted to have a foursome.
Cassian and Asriel just flew the coop during that rendezvous.
They were like, I gotta go.
Yeah, absolutely not. Are we going to listen to this or be a part of it? So, toodaloo.
Yeah. The Lady of the Autumn Court has a far more interesting story than I ever imagined.
Is this another novella that we need?
Yes. We need all the novellas.
Yes, need all the stories.
We learn that her older sisters were tormented and butchered during the war. Helion saves her and they have an affair for decades until Baron finds out. Ooh, and Helion is Lucian's father.
Helion, you are the father.
You are the father. Lucian might be Helion's sole heir. Wow. More about that in the plot section for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
Wild.
Like, who saw that coming?
Not me. The only kind of foreshadowing that I could see about this was because he was saying he doesn't feel like he belongs in the autumn court. He doesn't belong in the spring court. And now he's in the night court. Where does he belong? So I feel like that could kind of be foreshadowing for this happening, but blew my mind. I could not have believed that.
And then I guess his skin color was darker. Like he wasn't pale.
True. Compared to all his other brothers.
Mm-hmm.
Interessante indeed.
Interessante indeed.
Nesta senses something is off and wants the crew to leave the Dawn Court right away. Cassian is the only one who believes her and tells Rhys. She insists it's nothing with her, but it's the cauldron. The same way Feyre was able to wield the connection to the High Lords to track their traces of power, Nesta's own power, own immortality, was bound to the cauldron. Its dreadful presence, when awoken, brushed through her. We also learned that she's never worn pants before, which I thought was really funny.
That is so funny, honestly.
You're such a lady, Nesta. You've never worn pants.
You queen.
Nesta reveals she can't get into the bathtub anymore. She uses buckets of water instead. That was so sad, that whole scene.
That was so sad.
I feel like her and Feyre bonded over their trauma, though, in that moment.
They did.
For sure. Feyre offers to install something else for her when the war is over. Such a sisterly thing for her to do.
I know.
And Lord Devlin of the Illyrian War Camp joins the Anti-Nesta Club in this section of chapters.
He sure did.
She just loves to piss everybody off that she meets.
She does.
Cassian, though.
Just by looking at him.
Yep, literally. Cassian, though, is showing his love for Nesta, teaching her that Ash can kill her now, to remember where all the exits are, mark how many men are around her, mark where Rhys and the crew are, reminding her of her new strength and speed, and to aim for the soft spots. He told her to come to training, but she told him, don't start with me. I love the banter between these two.
Yes.
Cassian ends the first battle by throwing a spear through the commander's chest so hard it knocked the male clean off his horse. He was dead and gone, and his army went with him. The Illyrian soldiers were whispering about Cassian and how he fought like Annalius, who was their most ancient warrior god and the first of the Illyrians. Nesta detected, though, that Cassian was hurt through his armor. She wrapped and iced his wrist, and they had a moment staring into each other's eyes, brushing his thumb over her hand. But then, Moore walks in the room and notices he's hurt. He ends up pulling away his hand, and Nesta seems hurt by this and leaves the tent. She makes an excuse to get water or something. Poor Nesta.
Fuck you, Cassian. You know Moore is never going to be with you. Don't pull away from Nesta when she's actually, for once in her life, showing affection.
Yeah, I was going to say her wall is slowly creeping down. And now you just made her put it all the way back up by being a dumb fucking man. Dumb. You like Nesta. Why are you fucking that up? For more.
I know. It even grossed me out when after the High Lords meeting from day one and they're sitting on the couch and he's just rubbing her feet.
Yeah.
I'm like, ew.
He's like a little servant boy for her.
Ugh.
That's not love, Cassian.
I don't want my friends rubbing my feet. Like...
Yeah. Feyre has on a black dress for day 2 of the meeting, and she describes herself as Queen of the Night. I love this line, and I love this part. She's finally coming into herself as High Lady of the Night Court. I love it, and she's even dressed like it.
Yeah, she is.
Feyre knows she needs to find the location of Hiram's true army as soon as possible. So, literally, during the middle of a battle, she decides to seek out the Suriel once again. I believe he mentions it is the 3rd time that she has seeked him out.
He said, "Thrice you have called upon me. Thrice."
Since the wall has now fallen, they want to evacuate all the humans. Elaine suggests that they move them to Grayson's estate. She believes if they glamour her and the crew comes with her, the dogs, able to scent Fae, will be distracted and won't realize she is Fae long enough to open the gates and put wards up. Elaine calls for Lord Grayson when they get to the gate of his estate, armed with guards. She begs for sanctuary. Elaine reveals that she met Lord Grayson at one of his father's balls. Grayson decides that he will see Elaine. Lord Grayson was handsome. We get a little description of him here. Brown-haired, blue eyes, but human. Solidly built beneath his light armor and tall. Typical swoon a beautiful maiden and ride off into the sunset kind of guy. Prince Charming.
Prince Charming.
Not so charming, though.
Yeah, no. Not anymore.
Nesta is actually the one, though, that fills Lord Grayson and his father Nolan in on what happened to her with the cauldron, and Lord Nolan wants to know who her companions are, so they are all introduced. Grayson and his father knew that Elaine was lying about being human and knew she had a fairy mate, and it's all because fucking Jurian told them.
Fucking Jurian.
Grayson is a douchebag to Elaine, telling her that she has a mate and she belongs to him. She tells him her heart wants him, but he doesn't want it. Nesta walks up to him and smacks him hard. She tells him he never deserved her. And it's true.
It's true.
Fucking douchebag. Jurian reveals that the king resurrected him to turn the queens to his cause, believing he had gone mad during the 500 years Amarantha trapped him. He found himself on the wrong side of the wall with the human realm, poised to shatter beneath it. He asked Rhys why he didn't look into his mind to see the truth. He didn't want to see Amarantha.
I know.
That's what Rhys tells him. That's crazy.
I know. His trauma runs deep.
Because I feel like that is vital information for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
If he's telling the truth or not. But
yeah,
he hates Amarantha that much that he was like, nope, I can't look into your mind. What are you talking about?
Yeah, like, not gonna try to do that. Sorry about it.
Yeah.
He could have had Feyre do it if he didn't want to, if he suspected.
That's true. Well, he probably is like, she's not going to want to see Amarantha either.
Yeah, but if Moore's the truth teller, how come she couldn't see through his bullshit and whatever?
True. Interesting point there. Jurian does tell Rhys, though, look now. I swear to God, I'm on your side. Look now.
Look right now.
Jurian knows about Queen Vassa, but they don't tell him that Lucien is hunting for her. And Jurian actually officially becomes an ally for them.
Wow.
Yeah. I guess they'll take any they can get at this point.
Yeah, I mean, a body's a body.
A body is a body, yep.
We need all the bodies we can get to win this war.
And I feel like the humans trust him, so it's a win-win for the Night Court.
For sure.
Now.
Yeah.
For now.
Yeah.
We'll see how he acts, but.
Yeah.
So yeah, Jurian officially becomes an ally, and that is the end of our character section.
Woo!
For this episode. We're going to jump right into our world building here and start off with the creature from the library. We learn his name is Braxis, and Feyre is ready to make another bargain with it. She tells the creature that someone locked it down there a long time ago. She offered it another bargain. If she can figure out how to free it, will it fight in the war with them? The only thing it asks for in return is a window high enough to see the sunlight, the moonlight, and the stars. It agrees since it will be able to hunt without restraint on the battlefields, drinking in the fear and dread, but only to Hybern and only until the war is over. I feel bad for Hybern if they unleash him on them.
Do we? Do we feel that bad?
No, you're right. We don't.
We don't.
We don't. They deserve it. They deserve every single second of it.
Yes.
We get an interesting tidbit about witches, which was completely unexpected.
Yeah, we haven't had any talks of witches before in this book.
None. So Nesta actually asks what the difference is between witches and fae. We learn that witches amass power beyond their natural reserve. They use spells and archaic tools to harness more powers to them than the cauldron allotted and use it for whatever they desired, good or ill. Kind of freaky.
Yeah.
Kind of scary. And we are learning that for a reason. So someone is a witch.
But who is it?
But who is it? Who is the witch?
Dun, dun, dun!
It's in the back of my brain. I'm going to always be thinking about it every time we talk about another character again.
I love it.
The cereal is back with the tea.
With the tea.
The cereal tells Feyre that it cannot see Hybern's army as he uses magic from the cauldron to cloak it, and it's far older than the cereal itself. It also told Feyre that the cauldron did not react when she joined the book together and spoke the spell to nullify its power because she did not hold onto it for long enough. The spell would have drained the life from her. So she would have only known it worked if she died.
Right.
Pretty much is what he's saying.
Well, she wouldn't know. Like, the others would have known if it worked or not, but she would be dead.
Yeah, she would be done for. Feyre was getting the good tea, but unfortunately, the cereal was shot with an ash arrow by fucking Ianthe, who was with 2 other Hybern soldiers. The poor Suriel, though, had sacrificed his life for Feyre, knew he was doing it only because she was kind, and Feyre thought that it was kind to her as well.
I don't want to talk about it.
R.I.P. We'll wait till later.
I'm only doing it once and I'm not doing it again.
Feyre runs right into the Weaver's cottage on her escape from Ianthe. The Weaver can smell her twin on Feyre when she enters her cottage. She tells the Weaver that she brought her dinner, and Ianthe finally fucking dies. Along with the 2 other Hybern soldiers, which I could give 2 shits about.
Yeah.
I'm just happy she's dead, that bitch.
I know. What an epic death. I wish we got details, but it's fine.
I know. We just heard the screams, but maybe she's just like thread on the wall now.
Yeah. Some hair on the roof.
Yep, exactly. She gets what's fucking coming to her all along. Sucks to suck. Sorry, not sorry.
Sorry, not sorry.
Now, I have a new little segment here just because this chapter is so epically packed with so many war highlights that I have a little highlights section that I'm going to go over in chronological order throughout this section.
Okay.
Kind of like fast magic, just going to bullet through it.
Okay.
They believe, the Inner Circle believes, that the Spring Court and the human lands will see the brunt of the battle. Actually, all the High Lords believe this because this is discussed during the meeting.
Yeah.
Hybern destroys the wall.
Bitches.
Fucking crazy. The crew is heading to the Illyrian war camps to prepare and head south to the human lands. Jurian becomes an ally. Grayson and his father Nolan agree to give sanctuary to any human in need, but he makes it very clear that his relationship with Elaine is over. The Illyrian army is in the winter court ready to fly into the summer court for battle. The Inner Circle wins the first battle round with Cassian killing the commander of the Hybern soldiers. Asriel figures out that Hybern is marching north and they devise a plan to try to cut them off. Round 2 of the battles begin. Nuan's antidote does nothing to block weapons tipped in Faebane from shattering shields. The line, however, seems to be falling, so Feyre seeks out the cereal to find the true Hybern army. Wild. Obviously, we'll go into more detail during the plots, but that's pretty much all that happens in war.
Yes.
During this section. And we've made it to FASTMAGIC, Fast Magic! Woo! I thought about this morning in the car on my way to work.
Literally changes every week.
I know. Until something is so good that it sticks, I just got to keep trying new things, you know?
Yeah. Well, it's your section. It's your baby. You'll figure it out.
I'll figure it out eventually, yes. I'm going to have to hire someone to write me a jingle.
Yeah. If anyone out
All
there
right.
would like to write a jingle for Amanda for Fast Magic, please DM us.
Please. All right, so fast magic. Here we go. Feyre sends a wave of water from the reflection pond to encircle Beren and his chair, a bubble without air. Feyre and Rhys talk through their mind bond, of course. Cassian makes a smartass comment to Mor after her night with Helion, and she throws her spoon and porridge at him. He catches the spoon first and shields the porridge with his siphon blazing. Mor glamours Elaine to make her human-like and ordinary again. Rhys puts a shield around the whole crew when they arrive at the Grayson estate. Feyre tugs on the bond to lead her to Rhys before the second battle begins in the Summer Court. Rhys cloaked their forces, all of them. He kept the mass of the army hidden from sight and sound and scent as they flew mile after mile into the Summer Court. Shades of red, blue, and green flickered to life around the Illyrian soldiers during the battle in the Summer Court. Cassian siphoned unleashed bursts of power that sometimes bounced off shields, but sometimes found their marks and shredded flesh and bone. After the commander was killed, the Hybrid soldiers that remained in the Summer Court surrendered, but Tarquin wasn't letting them off easy. He drowned them all on dry land. Varian suggests that they march north to the Winter Court border and they stay put. He suggests that Rhys spin a glamour so that if anyone walks by here, they see and hear and smell an army. He says to put spells in place to repel them from actually coming up to it, but let Hybern's eyes report that they are still there, that they chose to stay there. And Cressida also helped, as she was skilled with glamours herself. During battle number 2, Hybern wielded its own magic upon their forces. Arrows tipped in Fabane finally making an appearance, but they didn't impact them, not one bit with the antidote in their systems. Rhys's power slammed into the flank of them, trying to shove them back, but his power was drained, exhausted from the night before. Dozens fell to those snapping shadows rather than hundreds. Feyre shows Elaine an image of the Surreal by sharing her thought with her, so she can try and locate where he is. She wasn't sure how to look, but sure enough, she figured it out. He was headed to the ancient forest in the middle, just miles south from the Weaver of the Wood. The Surreal tells Feyre that he knew that she had Elaine seek him out. He could see the doe eyes peering at him from across the world, which I thought was interesting.
That is interesting.
Ianthe gave the Surreal a robe that had a tracking spell. It was a gift from the king, and it was triggered in Feyre's presence. But more on that later. We won't make Megan talk about it more than once.
Yeah.
We don't want to make her cry.
No. Sobbing.
But that is all I have for world building.
Wow.
Yeah, pretty short section. You know, as we get towards the end of the book, I feel like they always get shorter. More plot stuff, more crazy action happening. So I'll let you dig right in back into our plots, notable lines, and some foreshadowing. Back to chapter 46.
Oh boy, let's take a drink.
Let's take a sip. Yes, I'm quite parched.
All right, chapter 46, we're picking up right where we left off in the High Lords meeting on day 1. Feyre is continuing to lose her shit on Beren. Feyre decides it's a good idea to show that she has all of their powers when it was decided beforehand that she was not going to do that. But like our girl likes to do, she makes it up as she's going along and decides to go against all plans that are made. Don't put the two halves of the book together. Feyre, don't show all your powers to the High Lords at the High Lords meeting. So what does she do? She puts the two halves of the book together and she shows all of her powers at the High Lord meeting.
She never fucking sticks to a plan. Why even tell her the plan? She's never going to stick to it.
Just don't tell it the plan.
Just don't tell her.
Yeah. Rhysand is trying to pull her back into the moment and preventing her from murdering Beren and the entire Autumn Court. She thinks it's worth it, though. She's like, I think I'm gonna do it.
Yeah, she's like, if he's dead, then I don't really give a shit.
Yeah. And Rhys is like, this is not a good idea. We need them to be on our side, not kill them.
Yeah.
Tarquin now knows how Feyre got through his wards, and Helion was wondering where that tiny kernel of power went. Rhysand said that he made Feyre a high lady because he loved her, not because of her powers. Because everyone's looking at him like, we see what you did, boy.
He's like, oh, no wonder she's your mate.
Right. But I think it just goes to show why Feyre is his mate when there was probably some contemplation about it. He's the most powerful High Lord ever to exist, and Feyre Archeron made Faye from a human 6 months ago as his mate?
Yeah.
What?
I mean, of course she has to be strong too. There got to be equals, you know? Makes sense.
Tamlin says that he did know about Feyre's powers, obviously, but it wasn't any of their businesses.
That's right.
So he did kind of stick up for Feyre in that moment. I mean, more for himself.
I know,
He's sticking up
exactly.
of why he didn't speak up, but it's true. It isn't any of their businesses that Feyre has their powers because they gave it to her.
Exactly.
Baron is not having it. Feyre tries to apologize to Lucian's mom, but Baron snaps at her, calling her human filth. Rhys then breaks through Baron's shield and shatters his chair, knocking Baron on his ass. And Baron says, "This meeting is over." Over. But
Over.
it's so weird because now this is like the third time people have gotten around this no fighting wards. Azriel got around them, Feyre got around them, and now Rhysand got around them.
Yeah.
How? Tell me how.
I know, because they assume that Azriel gets to them through the shadows, but then how do you explain that for Rhysand and Feyre?
Yeah, I guess Rhys does have shadows on his side, and Feyre can wield them as well, but I don't think Feyre wasn't thinking about that unless it just comes naturally to
I
her
can
now.
see how Feyre did, though, because she gets through the wards in the summer court earlier. So I feel like for her, it's no problem. So
Yeah.
maybe Rhys is just super strong enough to do it.
Yeah. Nesta is a queen. She
Mm-hmm.
says this meeting is not over. She's like, "You guys need to get your shit together, get your head out of your asses, drop your pride, because they all need to stand against Hybern for everything that is good and decent."
Mm-hmm.
Nesta says she doesn't care if Baron hates them, but he needs to stand for his people against Hybern. Hybern will destroy them.
Yeah.
Nesta says she knows all of this because when she was inside of the cauldron showed her the inside of Hybern's heart.
Must have been a rotten pit of blackness.
Right?
Here's my notable line for chapter 46, page 443. Nesta says, "I am sorry for the loss of those children. The loss of one is abhorrent. But beneath the wall, I witnessed children, entire families starved to death. If it were not for my sister, I would be among them. For too long have humans beneath the wall suffered and died while you and Perithian thrived. Not during the Queen's reign, but long before. If you fight for anything, fight now to protect those you forgot. Let them know they're not forgotten just this once." Look at Nesta with the words of wisdom. Okay, girl.
I know.
When she's being actually pretty calm, too, and not like bitchy about it.
Yeah. I mean, they're all just trying to cop out. Well, that wasn't a part of the deal for
Yeah.
us to protect the humans.
Yeah.
Cut the crap.
Cut the crap.
Nesta says, "The past is the past. Let us move forward and protect the children."
Yes. Protect the children at all costs.
Well, Baron says he will consider it, and then him and his entire family vanish, which has Eris looking a little panicked because their deal is that Autumn will fight, and then Rhys and the Night Court will help him secure his line when he takes over as High Lord. So,
Yep.
I don't know.
He's shaking in his boots, that one.
Shaking in his boots. Back to Feyre and her powers. Men. Callias wants to know if she's mastered the ice, and she says she has, and she's figured out all of the powers, really. And Vivian kind of wants to know, does it matter if Feyre has mastered his power? And he's like, I don't know, maybe it does. But Tarquin steps up and says, she saved us under the mountain, and that kernel of power seems like a good payment for all that she did.
Thanks, Tarquin.
But yes, thanks, Tarquin. Thiessen, though, doesn't seem convinced, which is kind of shocking because he is very neutral being the Dawn Court.
Yeah.
But Feyre thinks that if Rhysand was not right there, that he might have tried to have opened her up to see where that piece of his power now laid inside of her, which doesn't seem like something a neutral High Lord would be doing.
No, definitely not.
So Feyre
Defensive
has to
over
put,
his little power there.
right? So Feyre has to put them all in their place.
Mm-hmm.
Feyre says, I did not take your power, you gave it to me, along with the gift of my immortal life. I am grateful for both, but they are mine now. I will do with them what I will.
Mm-hmm.
She goes on to say, I will use these powers, my powers to smash Hybern to bits. I will burn them, drown them, and freeze them. I will use these powers to heal the injured, to shatter through Hybern's wards. I have done so already, and I will do so again. If you think my possession of a kernel of your magic is your biggest problem, then your priorities are severely out of order.
Agreed, Feyre.
Yes. Spoken like a true high lady, or actually just spoken like a normal, rational human being.
Yeah, you should be thankful because you need her on your side and she's more powerful than you.
Yeah, just think of all she can do to help you fight in this war, not thinking about,
Exactly.
I need to get like the tiniest dot of power, dot,
Like a
back from
popcorn
her.
kernel, literally.
Yes.
It's so
Yes.
small.
So small.
It's gonna get stuck in your teeth. You don't need it.
Yes. So obviously, all the females stand. Vivian and Cressida say they will fight with Feyre. Then all of the High Lords, including Thesan and Tamlin, stand, saying that they will fight with her too. And Rhys says 6 out of 7, not bad, Cursebreaker, not bad at all.
Not bad at all.
Chapter 47. Even if they were now allies, they continued the rest of the meeting fighting, not giving up specific information with Tamlin in the room. They will reconvene tomorrow. Thesan says that they can all spend the night there and everyone stays in the Dawn Court, including Tamlin.
Mm-hmm.
They are escorted to their suite of rooms for the evening. Everyone is exhausted and just chilling out. Nesta went right to her bedroom. Rhys tells Feyre that she did a good job, even though she exploded. If Baron tries to take Elaine, they decide, because of Lucian, them being mates, then they will both try to kill Baron, basically. Yeah. Nobody's gonna snatch Elaine.
Yeah, no. That would be a death wish for you, Baron.
Yes. Helion joins them, and we find out he was just wearing a mask in the meeting, and he's actually a lot closer to Rhys than he leads on. Helion comments on how Rhys was particularly nice that day, and Rhys informs him that Feyre said that they should come as they are today, which makes Helion say, oh my god, I'm looking just as bad as Baron then. It's so funny. You get to actually see Helion's, like, personality.
Real personality, yeah.
Yeah. Helion flirts with more Cassian and Azriel, finding out that he has been desperate to get into this trio's bed for a long time. Feyre cannot believe that they haven't done it, which shocks Rhys. He's like, you want to invite people into our bedroom,
yeah.
Feyre darling?
He's like, do you like that?
Yeah. Feyre's like, I don't know, maybe. He's like, who do you want to invite into our bedroom? Azriel.
Yeah, I would invite Azriel.
Yes.
And Cassian. I'm Helion in this.
Yeah. Yeah, just leave more out and I'm ready to go.
Yeah.
They start discussing war strategy and how their troops will meet and continue south until they get to the Winter Core, and then see where they will go from there. This spring, and human lands will see the brunt of this war, like Amanda said earlier. Mm-hmm. Then we get Helion's story of the Lady of the Autumn Court. Ooh. Helion confirms the story that Baron gave during the meeting about the Lady of the Autumn Court's two sisters was correct. They were tortured and slaughtered by Hybern. When this was happening, they gave the Lady of the Autumn Court time to run. Mm-hmm. But Hybern still caught up with her, and Helion confirms that he was the one to save her and ripped those beasts to pieces. She was married, Helion tells us, or was sold to Baron for power for her family in the Autumn Court. She was only 20 years old. There had been rumors she had been waiting for a certain someone after a solstice ball. Mm-hmm. Feyre just blurts out what everyone is thinking, that they had an affair, for quite some time. She's like, why would you care if the Hybern beasts were going after her? Why would you rip them to pieces and not just easily kill them? There's easier ways to kill them. Why did you rip them to pieces? And why did you do this? And why did she's just like hammering him, being such a little nosy new.
Yeah, but I mean, she's right. That is a passionate way to defend someone. So
I mean, I'm not saying she was wrong. I just can't believe she had the audacity to be like, you had an affair, didn't you?
Yeah. She puts it together way before anybody else. Even me.
Yes. This affair went on for decades until Baron found out. Helion does not like it when Feyre says, why didn't you stop the mistreatment of her? And Helion's like, she is a High Lord's wife, and she chose to stay there. And there are many rules around this, and Feyre should be well aware of this.
Interesting.
He says that Baron never called them out on it because it would be embarrassing what his possession did to him. And so they've continued the same song and dance for years, even now. Feyre is like, why would she go through all of this and not stop it? And then it clicks. Rhys is like, whatever you just figured out, you better stop looking so shocked by
it. Yes, and this is my notable line for chapter 47, page 456. While we spoke, I set down the bond. Helion is Lucian's father. Rhys went silent. Then, holy burning hell. His shock was a shooting star between us.
I would have loved to have seen both of their faces when this went down the bond.
He's like,
yeah. Feyre's like, how did you not see it? They have the same nose, the same smile, even their skin tone is the same. Lucian was her favorite son. And that's why Eris didn't care or want Lucian dead, because he was never a threat to Eris in his run for the Autumn Court.
So Eris knows, but never told Lucian.
No. I think Eris knows a lot of things that he keeps to himself.
I know. I want to know more about that, Eris.
I'm sure we will.
I'm sure.
Lucian could have gotten his firepower from his mother because she was very powerful. And that's why Baron wanted an alliance with her family. And when Lucian passed as his own son, Baron's own son, he never said anything, but he was never treated fairly either.
So everybody knows except Lucian.
Yeah, basically. Lucian was right now the only sole heir to the Day Court, which meant nothing at the moment because we're in the middle of war and it doesn't matter who the heir to Helion's court is.
Yeah.
Though I don't think Helion knows that Lucian's his son. Maybe he does, but he doesn't play it off one way or the other. I guess we'd have to see them interact.
Yeah, interesting. I wonder if he does now. Or I wonder if he's ever actually interacted with him.
I mean,
no, he probably has.
The mountain. Yeah, they had to have.
Yeah.
Nesta enters back into the main room from her bedroom, and she says she needs to speak to Feyre right now. She's even dismissive of Helion, which Cassian fights back his humor. Nesta says something is wrong, and they need to leave right now. Feyre says that the others would have noticed it if something was wrong, and she's like, I'm not like the others. Something is wrong. Something is amiss.
Mm-hmm.
Cassian comes in and listens to her, and so Rhys, Cassian, and Az go searching but find nothing wrong. Nothing was amiss. Even Valoris was secured. So they all eat dinner together, with Winter joining them. Mor and Helion go to bed together.
Bow, chicka, wow, wow.
Cassian and Az leave for the night. Poor Az.
Aww.
Just getting his heart ripped out of his chest.
I'm pretty sure they have to
the millionth time.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they have to listen to her all night too. She's not being quiet and courteous. She's loud.
Yeah, and Rhys had to put a silencing bubble around their room so that they could get a good night's sleep because of all the noise going on in that room.
Crazy.
When Feyre and Rhys are getting ready for bed for the evening, Rhys tells Feyre he is not going to get involved with the Mor and Azriel situation. They also talk about the potential of Nesta and Cassian being mates, and he says it's really hard to tell sometimes when the bond hasn't snapped into place. So we obviously can see that there's some potential there, but the bond isn't in place.
Yeah. Which is wild.
Snapped.
I don't understand this bond shit. How do you never meet Feyre and your bond is there? But Cassian and Nesta meet and flirt and you don't know if their bond is there.
Well, I think, you know, how it snapped into place for Rhys, but no one could smell the bond on it until Feyre accepted the bond.
So you think it snapped for one of them and we just don't know who yet?
I mean, it could have snapped for both of them, but until they accept it verbally to each other and she gives him soup or whatever, then
until she gives him soup,
then I think we're not going to be able to fully tell if they are a mated bond or not.
Give him the soup. Give him the soup.
Give him food. They talk about how Tamlin is also still in love with Feyre.
Gross.
So gross. And Feyre is proud of Rhys today for the stories that he had to tell in front of the entire group. She tells him she looked for his mother and sister's wings when she was back at the spring court, and she found out Tamlin had burned them long ago. And it's just so weird when Feyre decides to bring up information. Like,
I know.
why didn't you tell him this
As
when you
soon as you
got
got home.
back?
Yeah.
Why in this moment is now the time to bring that up?
I don't know. I guess they're feeling vulnerable right now.
She's like, oh yeah, by the way, months ago now,
Let me
I
change
did
the
this for
subject
you.
real quick. The wings, yeah, they're not there.
Yeah, they're not there. They were burned. Yeah, sorry about that.
Yeah.
Feyre also says she doesn't want to have sex tonight, but she
Boo.
does want Rhys to hold her. And Rhys tells her, always. I know, fuck that. Who cares if Tamlin can hear you screwing?
She
He
should have done it
sucks.
anyway.
I would have.
Hell yeah.
On the balcony. Make it louder.
Make noise like more.
Go into Tamlin's suite and do it.
Go into Tamlin's suite. You are vicious, Megan.
Yes. What is it? From our powerless book, Vicious Little Thing.
Yeah, you vicious little thing.
It just reminds me of from Blood and Ash, because I'm pretty sure he says the exact same thing. Like vicious, a beautiful vicious creature or something. I don't know.
That book remains unread on my shelf, but we'll read it soon.
Yes. Chapter 48. Helion sneaks out of the suite early in the morning. Rhys, like I said earlier, had to put a silencing bubble around their room with all the noise Moore and him were making. Cassian, like Amanda says earlier, teases more about the Helion situation.
Mm-hmm.
And Cassian, though, really wants to know how Nesta is holding up, but Feyre says she seems to be doing fine this morning.
Mm-hmm.
They're all grumbling about going back to the meeting today, and Rhys is like, that's the spirit. Go team.
Go team. Woo!
They are all dressed in black today, showing them that they were not going to be messed with. They're like, yesterday we showed you who we are. Today we're showing you we're not to be messed with.
Yes. We are the
And
night court.
we're wearing our night court black today.
Yes.
Solidarity.
Fuck with us and find out.
Yes. Thiessen was the only one who greeted them when they came into the room. Helion says he looked through everything Tamlin had provided, and Tamlin is snarky again today. He's like, and?
Of course. And?
Helion says that if Tamlin can gather his forces quickly, the spring and summer courts could hold the front line until the troops from the north arrived. Tamlin advised he only has a third of what he had because of Feyre. And Feyre was like, well, I wasn't really thinking long term about this war, just my revenge, and not that we would need them later, which is so true because obviously everyone knew, including Rhys, that she was going into the spring court to take them down, to take Tamlin down. Like, Rhys didn't even think, oh, maybe later we might need the spring court soldiers to help fight in this war.
Well, I also think, too, just seeing them with Hybern, they automatically were enemies. There's no way he's going to work with us. He's with Hybern.
Yeah, no, that's true. Why would they need them later if they were fighting against them with or fighting with Hybern?
Yeah.
Yeah. Nesta gets up from her chair. Something is wrong. Feyre, Moore, and Cassian are instantly there. Nesta vomits into the reflection pool, and Thiessen and Helion look over Nesta with their powers to see if there was any poison, if there was something wrong with her, and they're like, nothing is wrong. And Nesta keeps saying, there's nothing wrong with me. It's not me. It's not me. And she's meaning, it's not me. It's the cauldron.
Yeah.
There was all of a sudden a shuddering in the air, and then came an impact. Rhys lands on top of Feyre. There are people screaming outside, freaking out, and all the High Lords are like, what the fuck was that?
Yeah.
And Nesta throws up immediately again. And Helion is like, what the hell? Rhys uses his powers, sending them very far south, and he swallowed once, then twice, and said, the King of Hybern just used the cauldron to attack the wall.
Fucking wild. And this is my notable line for chapter 48, page 467. The wall is gone, shattered, across Prithian and on the continent, he said again, as if convincing himself, we were too late, too slow. Hybern just destroyed the wall. God damn.
Chills. Crazy.
Chills. Here we are having a nice little banter session with the High Lords, and Hybern must have known they were all going to be there. They're like,
Yeah.
sure, you're going to go distract yourselves with your little meeting. I'll be taking down the wall while you're there.
Yeah, you're welcome. Chapter 49. Back at the townhouse, everyone is all in their feels because Hybern had beaten them to the wall. That's why the King of Hybern wanted Nesta so badly, not because of what she took from the cauldron, but also because she was a warding bell of when the cauldron was going to be used.
Mm-hmm.
Nesta says they should have evacuated the human lands months ago, which is really true,
I
honestly.
know. Why did they think they had
Reese
all this time in the world?
I don't know because Reese was the one being like, we need to get things
Yeah.
ready. We need to get things ready. So I don't know why they did not evacuate these human lands.
Distractions.
Reese said that they can go to the Archeron estate tonight and bring all of the people there back to Valaris. Nesta said that they will not come. And Reese is like, well, then they will most likely die. Don't slap the hand that's going to be feeding you.
I
Like,
know.
you're going to be alive and protected in Valaris. You're
Yeah.
not going to go because they're Fae when
Yeah.
they're going to save your life.
But are they
Just
going to think it's
ignorant.
like a trick? Are they going to believe that he actually wants to help? That's what's like maybe
Maybe
where
not,
Nesta's
but
going.
like when they get there, they'll find out.
Yeah, for sure. It's a long journey to make to Valaris.
Elaine chimes in that they can go to Grayson's estate. They have high walls and ashwood trees and weapons ready to go to fight fairies. Elaine will have to disguise herself because they would kill her on sight now. The others would provide a distraction to the dogs that can scent the Fae. Elaine thinks that Grayson will listen to her. Moore says, well, we need to start moving the Illyrian legions today. Things are happening quickly now. We need to start actually moving south. Reese says that everyone has an hour to get ready and they would be leaving. Nesta and Feyre try to tell Elaine that she doesn't have to be the one that speaks to Grayson.
Yes, and this is my notable line for chapter 49, page 470. Nessa and I aimed for Elaine, both of us speaking at once. Are you sure? I demanded. At the same time, Nessa said, I can go. Let me talk to him. Elaine only rose to her feet. He doesn't know you, she said to me. And then she faced Nessa with a frank, bemused look, and he hates you.
We kind of see
Surprise,
Elaine's
surprise.
personality back in that sentence to her sisters.
Definitely. I feel like in this moment, she believes she can take charge. She can use her words to calm everyone down, figure out a plan on her own with the humans. But also,
And get back to Grayson.
I was just going to say, is it all a ploy just to see Grayson again? Maybe.
Oh, yes, it is.
Yeah.
She's one of those people that you don't go back to the people who are mean to you. Well, not mean to you, but are going to hate you.
Yeah.
So,
like she already knows the fate that's going to happen here, but she's hoping for the best.
How can she not see it? She's a seer.
True. Should have just looked for him like you looked for the cereal.
There's that thing was like, I'm blind. I'm blind.
She also doesn't really learn she can do that, though, until the end of the section. So maybe she just doesn't realize that she has that ability. Maybe she only thinks it's like coming to her when it comes to her.
Yeah, maybe. Feyre says that she will protect Elaine from Grayson if things go badly. Elaine wants Feyre to promise that she won't kill him, but Feyre's just like, I'll try, because if things go bad, I'm going to protect you. I don't give a shit about Grayson.
Yeah.
Nesta is blaming herself. If she had stayed and practiced more, maybe this wouldn't have happened with the wall. But Feyre's like, the wall would have come down, just we would have been gone and you would have been here. And it wouldn't have mattered anyways.
They wouldn't have even have known if Lesta wasn't there. Well, they would have felt something, but they wouldn't have known.
Yeah. Cassian tries to joke and tease Nesta to get that haunted look off her face, saying that they could not wear dresses. And Nesta's only response was that she had never worn pants before. Cassian tells her that if any of the humans mess with her, then she is to kill them. He would not be there and Ash can kill her now. He proceeds to tell her different ways to defend herself and to hurt her opponent. Cassian also scolds her, like Amanda said earlier, that like this is why you should have been training. And Nesta turns to Feyre and says, don't even start. Feyre goes to Amren's apartment to tell her about the plan, even though Amren would not be coming. I don't get why Amren's never coming.
I know. She's just studying that book.
Feyre wants Amren to come with her right now because she needs to make another bargain with the monster in the library. Feyre cannot count on the other High Lords in this war, and she keeps remembering that the King of Hybern's taunt that Rhys would have to give everything in this war to win, and she knew Rhys would do it too.
Mm-hmm.
Amryn calls Feyre foolish for making the bargain with Braxis, her original bargain.
Right.
Feyre wants Amryn, when the time comes, to break down the wards trapping the monster in the library. And Feyre gives her the "I'm your high lady, you must do as I say, look, you're coming with me right now."
Yep. Use your authority.
Yes. Chapter 50, we're in the library and Feyre summons Braxis. Braxis says that no one summons him, but she says, "I do summon you because we have a bargain and I came to offer you company." So that shuts him up real quick.
Yep. I mean, she is kind of fulfilling her first bargain here, so.
Yes. Braxis, though, wants to know what Amryn is. But Amryn just confirms to Feyre silently that she can, in fact, sever the wards. Feyre wants Braxis to fight in this upcoming war and she will set him free. He says he only wants a window into the world to see the sun and the stars. Braxis will only be able to kill the Highburn soldiers.
Yes, and this is my notable line for chapter 50, page 478. Then it's a bargain. You will obey our orders in this war. Fight for us until we no longer need you, and in exchange, we shall bring the sun and moon and stars to you, in your home. It whispered in her ear, "It is a bargain."
Ooh.
It agrees again, the creature.
Back at the townhouse, Amryn will be staying back to continue looking through the book to see if she can nullify the cauldron. She will join them once the fighting starts, which the fighting has started, so
Yeah.
not sure why she's not there.
The fighting's been going on, honey.
Maybe she's just coming for the final battle, but whatever.
Yeah. She's like, I'll be there if you really
Really,
need me.
yeah, I don't want to get my nails dirty. The rest of the group is ready to go to winnow into the Illyrian camp, and they all take a look around before Rhys nods and they all winnow out but him and Feyre. Feyre tells Rhys about her new bargain, and all that Braxis wanted was a window. Rhys says, "Well, I have to redecorate anyways after the Dawn Court, so I can give this creature a window." Rhys thinks Cassian is going to lose his mind when he finds out, well, who his new recruit is for his army.
Yeah.
Feyre also tells Rhys that the carver can rot in his cell for all she cares, because getting the Ouroboros is just unreasonable, where Braxis just wanted a fucking window in the library.
I
So the
know.
carver can rot in his cell.
Yeah. Fuck the carver.
Rhys says, "I wonder if we will ever see it again." And she knows he didn't just mean the townhouse, he means Valaris. And
Aw.
Feyre says that they will, and she hopes that her promise will hold true.
Me too, Feyre.
And then we see in the book part 3, High Lady. We're in our final part of ACOWAR, which is so exciting. And the first
Wild.
chapter in part 3 is chapter 51.
Mm-hmm.
We arrive back in an Illyrian war camp, and they are met by different camp lords. Rhys, Cassie, and Azriel are meeting with them, but Devlin is the one talking for everyone, because Lord Devlin is the only reasonable one, or the only one who can really tolerate speaking to anybody out of this group.
Yeah.
Rhys confirms the wall is now down, and their intention is to start moving south. Rhys uses his High Lord voice, reminding them all of who he was. Devlin wants to know what Nesta is, and some of the other lords are making signs against evil.
She is one crazy bitch.
She's something. Devlin wants to know if she's a witch, and Nesta says yes. And Cassian is like, "She's just kidding. She may act like it sometimes, but she is high fae." And Devlin is like,
Is she though?
"Yeah, Devlin doesn't think so." He said, "No, she is not." That's like saying we're high fae.
Interesante.
When they notice Elaine, he grunts. He's like, "Oh my god, another one." So Feyre takes the girlies to the tent. Nesta wants to know what the difference between high fae and witches are, and like Amanda told us earlier, she gives a great description that I'm not going to go over again. More than glamorous Elaine, and Feyre tells her not to say weird shit while they're in the human lands.
Yeah. And this is my notable line for chapter 51, page 487. After being glamored, Elaine studied her hands, turning them over. I hadn't realized how ordinary it looked. You're still lovely, Moore said, a bit gently. Elaine offered a half smile. I suppose that war makes wanting things like that unimportant. Moore was quiet for a heartbeat. Perhaps, but you should not let war steal it from you regardless. Okay, more being a girl's girl. I see you.
All right, she had one decent moment in like this book. Now we're in the human lands. They arrive at Grayson's estate, and it did, in fact, look like a prison. Feyre does not know how long this fortress would last in the war, but they were certainly prepared. They had the room to take people in. Elaine says to the guard, "Tell Grayson his betrothed has come and seeks sanctuary."
Your betrothed is here, Grayson.
So dramatic.
I know.
Chapter 52. The guards would not let them into the keep. They would only allow them near the guardhouse. Feyre was freaking out because of the small space, but Nesta adds that she can no longer bathe in the bathtub. She has to use buckets, like Amanda said earlier.
So sad.
24 guards plus Grayson and his father rode to them. Grayson was out of breath by the time he got there and he saw Elaine, which is so interesting. He seems excited to see her. Maybe he didn't believe Jurian at first, and then when she's lying to him, he's like, "Well, if you're gonna lie, then I'm pissed."
Yeah. Yeah, like I feel like if she just told him the truth, he might have been nicer to her, but
Yeah.
because she lied and he knew she was lying, he was like, "You're full of shit and fuck you, bitch. I want nothing to do with you now."
Yeah. Elaine tries to speak, but Nesta has to step in for her and says the wall has fallen. The queens will not send aid. The war is approaching. Nesta tells her story because they can obviously see that she has been changed. Feyre introduces herself as High Lady of the Night Court, Elaine's sister, and Rhys is her husband. Rhys introduces Morris as third and Asriel as their spy master. And Grayson wants to know why Elaine is with these people. And this is her opportunity to tell Grayson the truth, but she does not even say anything. Nesta says there's no other safer place than with her sisters.
I guess he does know about the mate though, and says mean things to her about it. So maybe he wouldn't have been nice if she told him the truth.
Yeah, that's true.
But
Elaine looks to Grayson and says that they are looking for sanctuary for the humans. Grayson said that he would be inclined to do so if she was not lying to him through her teeth. Lord Nolan steps in and says, "You think you could come here and deceive us with your fairy magic?"
yes, and this is my notable line for chapter 52, page 493. Nolan sneered. "No, I have it on good authority that it was Elaine Archeron who has turned High Fae first, and who now has a High Lord's son as a mate."
Rhys is like, "Who the heck told you that?" in his very calm way. And Jurian says, "Well, of course I did," popping out of nowhere, scaring the shit out of everyone. He's like a jump scare. He just pops up places.
Yeah. Fucking Jurian.
Fucking Jurian. Which brings us to chapter 53, Jurian. He said he came alone. And Lord Nolan says that Jurian warned them about what had happened with the queens and what had happened to the Archeron sisters.
Fucking Jurian. Can't believe it.
I know.
Here's my notable line for chapter 53, page 495. "The queens are snakes. They deserve to be butchered for their treachery. It took no effort on my part when Hybern sent me to woo them to our cause. Only one of them was noble enough to play the game, to know we'd been dealt a shitty hand and to play it the best that she could. But when she helped you, the others found out and they gave her to the Ator." Poor beautiful young queen.
Poor golden queen.
Oh, the golden one, that's right.
The king thought Jurian had gone mad, so he thought that he could get Jurian on his side of the cause this time. Jurian told Moore that they had been friends. How did she not see that he never would have turned for everything he had fought so hard for in the war? Which is true.
Yeah.
How did Moore not see it?
I know.
But
Shut up.
I guess at the time, he did shoot Asriel with an ash arrow, and there was a lot going on, and he was playing double agent, but
he was convincing. And I feel like because he was trapped for 500 years, they thought he just had gone mad.
Yeah.
And they were kind of thinking he was mad with the sister in the first place, like all those years ago, so.
Yeah, true. Rhys said that Jurian played the villain well, but Jurian is mad that Rhys didn't look into his mind to see the truth. Jurian does not want to kill Miriam and Draken. He wants to beg for their forgiveness. He wanted to find them because he knows that Draken's army would be able to turn the tide in this war.
Yeah.
And Jurian thinks by sending out these message basically that he's looking for them, that they will make contact and somehow come and help in this war.
Yeah.
Jurian says to send Asriel, send anyone to go and find Draken and Miriam and send them back here when Rhys is like, we've tried. We don't know where they are. We have no way to contact them. And Jurian's like, well, that's not good enough. You need to send somebody. Somebody needs to go and find them.
Yeah.
Rhys wants to know why here, why now with Jurian. And Jurian said when the wall was destroyed, he is now able to move more freely. That Tamlin ran back to the spring court this morning after the meeting, and Hybern is planning on attacking the summer court again tomorrow.
Thanks for the
The
heads
poor
up,
summer
Jurian.
court.
I know.
Like, why the summer court?
They not only have 2 battles in this one section there, but don't they already get attacked before this?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So they're just picking on the summer court, which I get it. They border the spring court, but Jesus. You're literally trying to wipe them out to what? Take over their land and just keep climbing up until you get it all?
Yeah. They probably think
Ruth's.
they can turn Baron to their side quicker
Yeah.
than they would ever turn Tarquin. So
True.
Chapter 54. Feyre cannot even believe that Jurian is on their side, but both her and Rhys look into his head and saw that it was the truth.
Yep.
Jurian tells them about the sixth queen and what happened to her, even though we already know because of Elaine. They do not tell Jurian this. So yes, they know that Jurian is on their side, but there's still some things that they're not going to just like outwardly say to him.
Yeah, it doesn't mean he's in the inner circle. He's just
right, exactly.
an ally.
Yes. Jurian said the queens did not kill her because the next in line is even more willful. And that this queen, Vassa, did not play the long game, and that's why the queens had to deal with her. Then we have the heartbreaking Elaine and Grayson interaction. Grayson is shook that Elaine thought she could come back here and live with him as Faye. And Elaine's like, well, I really didn't know what I thought, and I just had to come here and ask you to take these people in. And Grayson says, you have a mate and you belong to him now. Elaine says that she belongs to no one, but her heart belongs to him. And Grayson says, I don't want it. And Feyre says that he was better off smacking her across the face than hearing those words.
Poor Elaine.
I know.
She was so sad for so long, too.
I know.
It's like her fear coming to life.
Feyre tries to change the subject about protecting them with wards, and Lord Nolan doesn't want them. But Feyre's like, I could destroy these walls in 2.5 seconds.
Yeah.
And Lord Nolan also doesn't want to take in the poor. But Jurian, our new ally, steps in and says that he will send Hybern here if he doesn't agree to take everyone who can make it here.
That's right, Jurian.
Back to Grayson being a douche lord.
Of course.
He wants Elaine to take off her ring. Elaine says no, and he continues to scream at her to take it off.
Take it off!
Rhys is like, that is enough. Though he wouldn't be sad to see the ring go, he needs to stop.
Yeah. You made your point, bro. We get it. You don't fucking want her. Shut the fuck up. Get over it.
Yes. Grayson makes an awful comment about the Fae stealing their woman. He says, are high Fae not fuckable enough? Even his dad is like, watch it.
Yeah.
Watch it. Like
language in front of your
who
father.
You're talking to.
Yeah.
And then also not being able to see all the trauma that Elaine has gone through.
I know. So selfish, these little men. And here's my notable line for chapter 54, page 500. I am not marrying you. Our engagement is over. I will take whatever people occupy your lands, but not you. Never you, douchebag.
Nesta smacks him hard across the face and says that he never deserved Elaine.
That's right. She should have fucking broke his neck, but we need him, I guess, to take the humans in. So smack will do for now.
Yeah. Back to the war planning. Jurian tells them how and when Hybern would be attacking the summer court. He also tells them of his plans to go back to Hybern, complain about Draken and Miriam, go to the continent, spread a little distrust about the queen so that none of them sail here to help. And then who knows, maybe he'll join them on the battlefield. So he's a busy man. He's got a lot of things to do, a lot of distress to spread.
Yeah, and he's telling them exactly what he is planning, so I don't think he's lying here. He'll eventually see them on the battlefield. I'm sure he'll just pop up out of nowhere again.
Here I am.
Yep.
Jurian tells them to go to the left because the king is putting their untrained new soldiers there, and they would be fighting on that side to hit them hard there. He also congratulates Feyre on killing the Hybern twins, and that is the reason he decided to trust her, because she did it for the children of the blessed and not for glory. Chapter 55. So we're now back in the camp that we've set up on the border of winter core and summer.
Yeah.
Mor and Feyre are talking about the surprise of Jurian being on their side, and Elaine is not doing well. Any progress she had made while being in the night court was now gone. Mor says that they should go to sleep. Mor doesn't even know why she was drinking wine. I mean, it's always a good time to drink wine.
Yeah, Mor, you don't need a reason to drink wine.
Yeah.
And here's my notable line for chapter 55, page 504. Mor says, "It's so much harder when enemies turn into friends. And the opposite, I suppose. What didn't I see? What did I overlook or dismiss? It always makes me reassess myself more than them. Another joy of a war? No, of life."
Some more wise words from Mor.
Yes.
Rhys never went to bed that night, and Feyre followed the mating bond to find him. As the sun was approaching in the molding light, Rhys was looking at all the remaining stars as the morning was finally approaching. He says soldiers will die today, and that it never gets any easier.
No.
Feyre knows this is the only time that he will show his grief, and Rhys is grateful to have Feyre stand by his side in this war, and they kiss one final time as the camp below started to stir.
Aww.
Which brings us to our 16-page chapter, I'm pretty sure it is, or maybe it's even longer than that, about
this giant chapter.
The battles.
Let's take a sip before you start.
Okay.
We need that for this long chapter.
Yes, for sure. So, chapter 56. The war has begun. Rhys had the army cloaked until the right moment where the attack would begin. We held the high ground. And Cassian says, it's important to know not just who you're fighting, it's where you're fighting. And do you have the upper hand? Cassian with his words of wisdom about war.
Yes, the last words he has for his army before battle.
Yes. Cassian yells for everyone to put their shields up. The Illyrians and the Darkbringers are ready to go. Mor is not out in the line. She's up on the hill watching with Feyre. Nessa and Elaine stayed back at the war camp. They are not here today watching this battle.
Yeah.
The battle lasted for hours. And Jurian was right about the left flank. And it was so interesting to see Cassian, Azriel, and Rhys with their battle helmets on.
I know.
Just watching them kick some ass.
Yeah.
And just seeing how well this group works together and how the lines are holding tight. Like, what a good leader Cassian is. What a good High Lord Rhysand is to hold these lines. Even working side by side with Care and the Darkbringers, just holding this front and attacking Hybern.
Yeah. Care's surprising me in this. He's like actually doing what he needs to do.
Yeah, I think he knows at the end of the day that it is not wise to have Hybern anywhere involved in Prythian. That the power that he has now would be non-existent.
Yeah, I was just going to say he would much rather answer to Rhys than Hybern, I'm sure.
Yeah, for sure. As this battle continues to go on and on and on, some of the Hybern soldiers start to panic. Because as we know, a lot of their untrained soldiers were coming today to attack the Summer Court. They were not expecting to see Night Court Illyrians and the Darkbringers facing them today.
No.
But there was one noble who was holding strong. So naturally, Cassian decides, that is my target. That is who I will be taking down.
You will die today.
Yes. Cassian went after him hard and strong, and he killed him. And that's when the other soldiers are like, okay, peace, gotta go. And they started to run. But as they turned back, Tarquin and his army of the Summer Court was waiting for them to turn around. They were not going to be going home today. But
nope.
Feyre also notes that what it looked like to her when Cassian was moving was a dance. And even Mor said, yeah, it's like a symphony for him. That's how he moves. It's just magical, really, to watch him in battle.
Yeah. I just picture the music. Dun, 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 dun. And then he swings the sword. Dun, 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 dun. And he's like stabbing
That's
them
not
all.
what I thought you were going to start singing. I was thinking of some epic battle scene with epic battle music in the background, and you're like doing ballet.
Yeah. He's dancing to the symphony.
You're right. No, you're right. Tarquin takes those other soldiers that were turning back and, like Amanda said earlier, drowns them.
On dry land, bitch.
Yes. The Night Court now moves their war camp into the Summer Court where the battle had just happened because where they were stationed was actually a really good position. And Elaine, she just goes from one camp to the next, back into the tent and lays back down. She's a depressed bitch. She's like, I know this is war, but I'm in my tent and that's just what I'm going to be doing is
Her
laying.
mood is not really in battle mode. It's more like, poor me, my life sucks, depressed.
Yeah. Then have another heated Nesta and Cassian moment. And Amanda kind of went over this already, but I just love that when he comes over to see her because he always says after what had happened when the Summer Court was attacked that he would always come and say hello to her. And he comes over after, he's done his duty and she can tell that he's hurt. And Reese is actually really mad because he's like, you're not supposed to be walking around doing things like this when you're injured. We need you. And Cassian's like, you know what? It will heal by tomorrow. It's no big deal. But Nesta's like,
just a sprain.
How can I help? How can I help you? And she wraps his wrist and they're just like holding hands and just staring at each other because they don't speak, because if they speak, they'll fight each other. So they just stare at each other with heated looks.
And Reese and Feyre are right there.
Yeah. And they're both just like, I would look. They're looking at them. I would be staring at them too. Do you see this? Yeah, I see that. You see this? It's so funny. More Nesta and Feyre worked pretty much into the long of the night, healing and helping with the wounded because they had been cutting up bandages, working together as a nice little unit until Cassian comes over and then Mor ruins everything, but it's fine.
Fucking Mor. Why can't you just want Azriel and not Cassian? Just let Nesta have him.
Yeah, she's being a little territorial.
Yeah, but of two guys, who do you think you are, Mor? You don't get two.
She wants to have her cake and
only have one.
Why can she only have one? Why choose when you can have both?
Because Nesta needs one.
Because Nesta needs one.
Share more.
Feyre finally returns to her tent and she gets into bed with Reese. They get steamy because obviously they love to fuck in war camps where people are wounded and dying. And
it is the only way they feel alive, I assume.
Yeah, they need to have each other's touch after such. Feyre talks after they get steamy how she is not ready to fight in these battles, that she could handle the attacks because it was more chaotic, which she thought that the attack would be more like the battle, I think. But she realizes that she's more suited for attacks where it's not so precise because she wouldn't know how to fight alongside of them in those lines. She wouldn't know how to hold the line or where she would fit in with the line fighting side by side them. That if she was trained, maybe that she could totally do it. Reese knows she could, but she feels like a coward because she's not out there, fighting. And Reese is like, you are not a coward. Like, I totally understand. And that if one day he would be honored to fight side by side with her.
Yeah, and I feel like with the element of surprise there, obviously you get more anxious and more in your emotions, which I feel like are her most powerful moments when she's really in her emotions. So I feel like when you're kind of prepared for the battle, you have less anxiousness about it.
Yeah.
Less emotion about it. It's hard to get there with the adrenaline versus a surprise attack. So I get it too.
Yeah. Tarquin sets up his camp with the Illyrians and Darkbringers, and nothing really happens for a bit until Azriel gets word that the Hybern army is headed through the Summer Court towards the Winter Court border, which is like, what are they doing? What are they doing?
Yeah.
They cloak the area, like Amanda said earlier, to make it look like they're still here, and they hide their army again. But this time, they don't know how, but Hybern was ready for them. They knew this attack was going to happen, and they also didn't see how many Hybern soldiers there were this time for some reason. So The first time they had the element of surprise and the correct information. This time around, they didn't really have the element of surprise on their hands and they didn't have all the correct information.
Yeah, and we also learned too that the first battle had all their amateurs basically hibern, and now is probably where the skilled fighters and soldiers are coming in.
Yeah, definitely.
Mhm.
The Darkbringer line, as this battle is going on, is starting to fall. Reese is getting depleted. Cassian is trying to help, and Az is trying to follow, but even Cassian is starting to get swarmed. Moore is
Mhm.
yelling to rebuild the lines. She's like, shit, 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 shit. And you can tell
Yeah.
that she just wants to be down there. And Feyre's like,
Yeah.
okay, I need to do something about this. Like, I need to find where the majority of the Hybrids army is so I can unleash Praxis upon them. Also, I need to get more down there. She doesn't need to be up here with me and Nesta. One, I can hold my own if there is an attack. I'm just not good
Yeah.
at battling with the lines. Nesta
Right.
is also freaking out. She is like eyes glued to Cassian. She's like, can someone help them, please?
Yeah.
Like, what the heck?
She's like, Cassian, no, Cassian, no,
And Feyre's
no,
like,
no.
you know how I'm gonna help? I'm gonna go see the cereal. Genius plan. In the middle of a
I
fight.
was like, when we literally read this, I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
I get it, but during a battle, you are a fucking high lady of the Night Court because you're a fucking powerful bitch and you decide during a battle where your lines are falling,
Mm-hmm.
you gotta go find the cereal.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Unbelievable.
Typical favorite Archerod move.
Typical.
Which brings us to chapter 57. Moore does not want Feyre taking off while this battle is going on. She's like, Reese will kill me. And Feyre's like, Moore, you are needed on this battlefield to help hold the lines. And that's where you truly want to be. Go. Now. And Feyre needs to help by finding the majority of the Highburns army and unleashing Praxis upon them. She's like, we all have our roles. This is mine. And you know what? I'm going to decide that I'm going to get a head start on this now because I can't
Yeah.
bear to watch this battle where we're losing at the moment. And I'm just going to go. Gotta go. Bye.
Do you think Reese would have rathered her left and saw the cereal or just get in the line?
I don't know. We're going to find out, I guess, when she sees him again.
Yeah, that's true. I can't wait for that conversation. He's gonna be like, bitch, the fuck did you go?
Yeah. Meanwhile, Nesta is like, can someone please help Cassian? Like, she's still waiting for help.
Fuck Reese, fuck Asriel, but go help Cassian.
Yeah. Moore winnows straight into the battle and starts cutting down soldiers to try and make a pathway towards Cassian. But even she's struggling to get there with Asriel by her side, trying to get towards Cassian. Nesta cannot believe that Feyre is going to leave in the middle of this. I mean,
Me neither,
us
Nesta.
too, Nesta. Like,
literally.
Feyre enlists the help of Elaine to help with locating the cereal. Elaine is able to track it and says the cereal is in the middle, just miles from the Weaver. Feyre winnows, almost draining all of her power after last night, reaching the middle in 5 winnows.
Yes, and this is my notable line for chapter 57, page 527. I drew my Illyrian blade, the metal singing in the thick air, but an ancient rasping voice asked behind me, have you come to kill me or to beg for my help once again, Feyre Archeron?
I mean, Feyre would never kill the cereal, but I think
Never.
obviously we know the cereal knows what his or its fate was.
Oh, yes, of course.
Chapter 58. The cereal was right next to her, almost waiting for her to arrive. It had only been a few months since she last saw the cereal and found out Reese was her mate. The cereal says, thrice now you have hunted me and met me. They never expected to see Elaine's doe eyes looking at them and being searched for this time. So the cereal never expected to see Elaine's face like, hi. Oh, there you are.
Like he was expecting a robe or a chicken or something. But no, instead he sees these eyes.
Yeah, there's Elaine. The cereal knows why Feyre is there and what Feyre is looking for. Feyre wants to know where Hybern's army is, but even the cereal cannot see it due to the magic the king is using. It is far older than even the cereal because he's using the cauldron. Right. The cereal says that for them to use Nesta to hunt and track the cauldron. If she cannot do it naturally, yet she can use bones and stones to scry for it. The cereal says like calls to like and says tell the little thief to find it. The
little thief.
Yeah. The cereal confirms Feyre would have died if she nullified the cauldron. Something with such great power, there is always a cost.
Of course.
Feyre asks, with their allies, will they survive? The Serial cannot see if she unleashes the monsters since they are not of this world, but he does seem very intrigued by it and kind of delighted that she will be using monsters
Yeah.
in this war.
Yeah. He's like, good idea, bitch.
Right? He's like, that's a great idea. Why didn't I think of that?
Yeah.
Feyre says to release the Carver, she would have to look into the Ouroboros, and the Serial knows that she is afraid to look into it.
Yes, and this is actually where my notable line is, but I just thought of something that I have to say before I say it. I think it just clicked in my head. If the Serial cannot see the monsters happening, maybe Hybern and the Cauldron cannot either.
Maybe. Yeah.
Because they're not of this world. So how would the Cauldron be able to sense that?
Right, exactly.
They will have the element of surprise, I believe, with the monsters.
Interessante.
Yes, indeed.
Indeed.
Okay. So here's my notable line for chapter 58, page 530. Feyre asks if it will drive me mad, break me. It was an effort not to flinch at the monstrous space, at the milky eyes and lipless mouth, all focused upon me. Only you can decide what breaks you, curse breaker. Only you.
Oh.
Oh, this makes me feel like she's gonna get the Ouroboros.
Yeah.
Like in the name of the Serial.
Justice for the Serial.
Justice for the Serial.
The Serial is telling Feyre where Amryn should look into the book to find the key to defeating Hybern, when all of a sudden it is hit with ash arrows. Lots of them.
No.
Then we hear the voice. Ianthe is jelly again and wants to know why the Serial talks to Feyre, but wouldn't talk to her. Me.
Well, I wonder fucking why, because she's a fucking bitch.
She is.
I hate her.
Ianthe was there with 2 Hybern soldiers. Chapter 59. Feyre is now hiding behind a tree. She is pretty much completely drained at this point.
Yeah.
Between her glamours the night before, winnowing to get to the middle, she's basically out of juice.
Yeah.
Ianthe says it took the King of Hybern days to unravel what Feyre did to her, and she still cannot use most of her hand. Good.
Sucks to be you. Thank you, Rock.
Yeah. Thank you to the Rock. Tamlin told Ianthe how Feyre had caught the Serial, so she had given the Serial the robe it was currently wearing. And that, Amanda tells us, is how the Serial was caught, because it was triggered to go off when Feyre was in its presence. The Serial keeps looking at Feyre, mouthing for her to run and to go. The Serial knew that they would take it to use against them, but wanted to give Feyre the time to run. Ianthe says that the king built shields in Ianthe's mind so that Feyre could not mess with her again. Feyre's like, I don't need that to fuck with you. Watch.
Yeah. She's like, you think that's the only way you can die, bitch?
Yeah.
In your head?
Feyre's like, I should have slit your throat when we were sharing that tent.
Yes. And this is my notable line for chapter 59, page 533. One of the guards shot an arrow at me. I blocked it with a wall of hard air that instantly buckled. Ianthe's face tightened. You'll find you want to reconsider how you speak to me. I'll be your best advocate in Hybern. I suppose you'll have to catch me first, I said coolly and ran.
Ew. You're gonna be her best advocate in Hybern? My ass.
Why do you still think you have power over Feyre?
And clearly you have no power at all.
We've not seen your power once throughout this whole time knowing her for 2 whole books.
I don't think she has any.
And you still think she can't. She can't.
Yeah.
She's a phony.
Phony.
We know this. She's probably not even a fucking high priestess.
Yeah.
She just weaseled her way in there somehow.
Yeah. Feyre starts running through the forest. It was like the forest was helping her, though, because she was easily able to run through the forest without a problem. And she could hear Ianthe and the Hybern soldiers on her tail, and she ran straight into the Weaver's cottage.
Wild. Especially because she was so fucking terrified the first time she was there. She literally punched it in the face.
Yeah.
Like, she's so lucky that she was like, ooh, little wolf.
Yeah.
She could have just fucking eat your head off.
Yeah. The second you walked in there. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, which brings us to chapter 60, the last chapter in this episode and section. A sad chapter. But also,
Yes.
this part isn't sad. This part is epic.
Right.
Feyre is now in the Weaver's cottage. The Weaver knows who she is, calling her the thief. The Weaver can also spell her twin brother on her, and she wants to know what Feyre is. She was asking Feyre all these questions over and over again, and Feyre's like, shut the fuck
Yeah.
up. Shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fear's like,
Trying to hold the door open because the Weaver's trying to trap
yeah.
her in there. And Feyre's like, I'm
Yeah.
trying to help you out and give you some food. Can you shut the fuck up?
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Ianthe is outside of the cottage saying to Feyre that this is tedious and now they're also going to have to kill whoever's inside of that house. Which it's so
I like to
funny,
see you
Ianthe. You're
try.
so all-knowing and so powerful that you don't know that this is the Weaver's cottage?
No shit. How do you not know this?
So stupid. She's so stupid.
So stupid. What a phony bitch.
Anyways, that's what'll kill you. So the Weaver
Yep.
wants to know who Feyre brought to her. And Feyre's like, dinner. And as Hybern enters the house, Feyre slips out. And as she starts running back to the cereal, she could hear them screaming.
Ding dong, the witch is dead. Witch, old witch, the wicked witch.
Ding dong, the wicked witch is dead.
Bye bye, bitch.
Bye
Long time
bye.
coming. And now you're done. Into thread you go.
Your hair is now on the roof.
Yep. Your skin oil is now in the chimney.
Yuck, yuckies. And now the part I've been dreading all episode.
Let's take a sip for the cereal.
Cheers to the cereal. I never realized how attached I got to the fucking cereal until this moment.
Megan was actually reading this chapter out loud. And when she got to this part, it's not funny because I'm sad too that the cereal eventually passes. But Megan was like choking as she was reading, and I could not help but laugh.
I'm literally making Amanda say all the sad parts.
Yeah, I will be reiterating the lines, the exact lines today of the sad parts, so Megan does not cry.
Feyre makes it back to the cereal. She wants to heal the cereal, but the cereal says her power is already drained and they are already far too gone.
Aww.
The cereal asks her to stay until the end. And she's like, what do you need? What do you want? And the cereal says, stay with me. Stay until the end.
Yes, and this is my first notable line for chapter 60, page 538. You were kind. You fought your fear. You were kind, is said again. I began crying. And you were kind to me, I said, not brushing away the tears that fell onto the bloodied, tattered robe. Thank you for helping me when no one else would.
The cereal then says to her, you stayed with the High Lord. And Feyre now knows that they always meant Rhys, that she should continue to stay with him and the world would be righted. The cereal's like, no, not yet. You still have to stay with him. You can't.
Yeah.
It's like, well, I'm obviously going to. I always will.
Yeah, she's like, duh, we're married now. I'm a wifey.
Yeah.
And here is my second notable line for chapter 60, page 539. The cereal says, Feyre Archeron, a request. I leaned close. Anything. Leave this world a better place than how you found it. A moment of silence for the cereal.
Yeah.
Megan, you are allowed to shed one tear.
It's because I'm not reading it myself. I won't even look at the words. Like,
I know. She was like, you have to say this and you have to say this. Otherwise, it's going down.
It's going down.
The tears are falling.
Yeah. Feyre is sobbing because who wouldn't? Who wouldn't?
And so was Megan.
And so was I. Helion shows up, which is kind of random. And Feyre asks for his cloak, and she covers the cereal in his rich cloak before Helion burns the cereal. Because Feyre didn't want him burned, or the cereal burned with the stupid cloak Ianthe gave it. So, Helion...
be some fucking curse on him for all of eternity.
Yeah. Feyre's like, cloak, now.
It is so weird, though, that Helion shows up.
Yeah.
Why does he show up? Is he just closest to the middle?
Yeah, I guess his court is there, I think. I don't know.
Yeah.
He must be on his way, and who knows? We're going to find out, because I don't remember.
Maybe he got, like, some kind of message from someone, like, where the fuck is Feyre? Go get her.
Yeah, but how did he find her? Maybe he traced his power, too, to her?
Maybe, yeah.
I don't know. So Helion burns the cereal, and Helion tells her that they have to get back to the camp, and they disappear from the woods, which is the end of this section.
Wild.
Yay.
Holy shit. We literally went from the High Lords meeting bickering to each other and fighting to the fucking wall falling, battle after battle after battle, the fucking surreal, like holy shit.
So much.
What an epic section.
So epic.
I can't even picture how this fucking book is going to end.
I know. It's just going to keep getting
I do
wild.
have 2 predictions though.
You do.
To go over.
Yes.
But I'm still like, I have no idea what really is going to happen, but we're going to put my 2 cents in here. I'm going to start with the creature. So we know Braxis is already in, but I also think the Weaver and the Bonecarver will all band together with the Inner Circle and work with them to end the war. I feel like now the Weaver is going to feel like she owes a debt to Feyre because that's how it is in Prithian.
Yep.
And I feel like Feyre probably gained some courage to get the Ouroboros from the Surreal because he was like, only you can decide what breaks you, Cursebreaker.
Yeah.
So I feel like she's like, yeah, you're fucking right.
Yeah.
And it's not going to break me. So I'm going to get it and I'm going to give it to the Bonecarver and have as many fucking allies as I can.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So that's my first prediction. I feel like all 3 of those creatures are going to be on our side and they're going to wreak havoc and Hybern is going to fucking wish they weren't Hybern. And I feel like eventually the war will end in this book. My second prediction is I'm bringing it back to my old school prediction because I still feel like it's going to come true that Nesta will be the one to give the final blow to the King of Hybern. Amryn says it to her. She pointed at him when she goes in the cauldron. She takes something from the cauldron. So she's this almighty powerful bitch. And she's going to fucking get him.
Yeah.
She is going to get him. I know it.
Those are
I have a
some
feeling.
good predictions, Amanda.
Thank you. I feel like I've been off my prediction game, so I'm proud of these ones.
Well done. Well done.
Thank you. Thank you very much, darling. And that's all we have for you today. I hope the Surreal rests in peace. But I also hope that Ianthe burns in hell. We really hope you enjoyed this episode. Please let us know what you think by leaving us a review and comments on any of the platforms you are listening/watching on or on our social media pages. This helps tremendously to get the word out and lead more listeners to find our show and tune in.
Yes, don't forget to email, follow, subscribe, rate us 5 stars, and tell all your friends about us. We hope the rest of your day is blissful. Bye!
Thank you so much for listening. Join us next week where we start part 6 of A Court of Wings and Ruin by Sarah J. Maas, covering chapters 61 through 71. Happy reading!